Well, hello everyone. How are we all doing? Oh, so was that what Andrew WK started sounding like? I actually never heard any of his music, so I could not say. Anyway, it's Thursday, the day before Friday. I'm not all here, to be honest with you. I was hoping to sit down and finish up the print edition of Boobs of Steel because I marathoned it last night, but I think I'm kind of suffering the effects of marathoning it last night. So anyway, almost there. So I thought, hey, fuck it. I'll go on the air and ramble at you guys again. You guys like that. For that matter, not only can I ramble, I can urge all of you to go to your social media, damn it. Go to your social media and promote the hell out of this. Let's keep this in the top 20 of pop culture for as long as we possibly can. Okay. In fact, you don't need to see my alien face here right now. Why don't we do a share screen? If I can find it. The hell? There it is. No, that's not it. Never mind. Give me a second. Shit. I don't know. They changed the interface recently. So there we go. A book we all need, Boobs of Steel. Points to anyone who's purchased it, points to anyone who's promoted it. Go to your, like I said, go to your social media. In fact, I encourage people to go out and start arguments with people. Actually, that's been very effective is anytime I see any of these woke people bitching about, boobs or that's offensive. Who was it? Billie Eilish's tits, how people were freaking over that. I've actually been jumping in and saying, well, this is a leftist war against, the female body and the attempt to erase females and heroic females in general and tie it into this. And it's been kind of effective. The thing that surprises me is I have not been rude at any point. I have actually been very friendly about it, but it is interesting how many people have either flipped out or had their brain just utterly blue screen by it once they realize I have an argument. But if you see any threads you think I should jump in on and just start talking, see where I take it, that might be fun. I think the one that was really amusing was there was this one chick who was complaining. Well, I was talking about that GOP candidate where some liberal news source was trying to turn it into a scandal that he had, in college, commented on a woman's boobs on his Facebook page. Somebody had posted a picture and he had written, well, her boobs aren't that big. That was it. And then he also posted a picture of him drinking beer from a bottle between a woman's tits at a party in college. And I basically said, here we go. Basically, the left is again trying to make the fact that men like boobs a scandal, trying to make normality a scandal. And I got people arguing with me. And I got one chick who said something to the effect of, we don't like it when creepy guys comment. And I said something to the effect of, well, except that for your picture, for your avatar, you've got a picture of you flashing cleavage. I mean, you're an attractive woman. You've got a nice figure. Is it offensive for me to notice? I went down that. She had no idea how to comment. She did not know how to respond. It was great. Is the mic different? I sound fuzzier, huh? Give me a second. Okay, tell me. I'm going to adjust things. Does it sound any different now? Tinnier, huh? Give me a second. I'll check something. I don't know. Our internet setting has been kind of shit, but let's see. Audio here. It says that's on the Yeti setting. Mic settings. Let's see if I can. I don't know. Jeez. Let me adjust a few other things. Okay, I'm going to put it here. How does this sound? Sound setting 1. Sound setting 2. Let me know if either of those sound any better. If not, I'll try unplugging the mic and putting it into another USB port. Anyway, I'm sounding fuzzy. That kind of annoys me. If you don't want your tits don't post your tits. Yeah, exactly. Sound setting 1 is fine. Okay. Okay, back to setting 1. I'm basically adjusting the gain on the mic. So the rest of you hear me fine. It's just some of you, I guess your connections aren't being your friend today. Not really sure. Let me know. Just, I don't know. Ever since, I don't know, the weather's been weird and Microsoft has been doing updates. It's been a big pain in the ass. Fuck Microsoft. Seriously. I mean, even when they do something right, they then come back and fuck it up. Goddamn Bill Gates. You know, he can't even cure computer viruses, and he wants to put shit in our bodies. Fuck that guy. I mean, I only hope that a lion jumps out and shoots him someday. That's really my feeling. Is that, I want him to one day just slip in the shower and accidentally hang himself. Just one of those accidents that just happens to people. Mostly to people who know Hillary Clinton, but you know what I mean. Of course, I think, that typically I'm not one to celebrate. I think celebrating people's deaths is really tacky and low. But I would make the exception for Bill Gates. He's one of the few where I'd say, yeah, I think the world's much better off now. Microsoft doesn't even sound sexy. Yeah, he was talking about his goddamn dick. Okay, listening to earbuds at work, it just sounds a bit off. Last night, everyone except Wolf was fuzzy and a little too quiet. Huh. Well, geez, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, microphone settings. Is anyone else having this issue? Or is it just Ironcast Night right now? Because if it is, that could just be a connection issue. Oh, yeah, Soros. No. Actually, no, it wouldn't be enough for Soros to die. He would need to die in like horrible pain. Or you know what would even be better is I don't want Soros to die. I want him to be one of those old people that falls down and then they're like stuck in a body that barely works and they can't talk and they can't speak and they just kind of sit there and lay in. The most they can do is wiggle their toe or something to try and communicate because they had a stroke. Yeah, I know that's vicious, but he's a piece of shit and a Nazi, so fuck him. Again, there are a few people that I really, really want horrible things to happen to. Soros, Klaus Schwab, what's his name? Fink, Bankman, the assholes that are screwing everyone. Yeah, those people can have a stroke and be stuck in a bed for the rest of their life, unable to communicate, having to eat through a tube and piss in a tube. Is that kind of vicious? I don't really care. May you live forever, curse. Exactly. Bill Gates is Mr. Rogers with a Freddy Krueger complex mind. Yeah. And the thing is he's not even very good at that. Even when he's talking about his evil Bond plans, it's like, I'm going to kill people. It's like, jeez, man. Anyway, so. Yeah, Bill Gates is the worst supervillain. I mean, he can't even play it up. If you at least play it up. I mean, look at Klaus Schwab really does come across as kind of your iconic Bond villain. He wears satanic robes. He talks in a monotone German accent. He's probably a closet Nazi. Just go down the list. He comes from a plan called, he comes from a town called, what was it? Ravenswood or Ravenlock or something like that? And then think BlackRock's just your typical cutthroat banker who just wants to screw the world and own everything. Okay. So, going through your comments. No, trust me, I'd love to see Soros die. No, I take that back. I would prefer him to have the stroke and be just completely trapped in a bed and non-functional. That's much better. All right. Well, anyway, no, I'm going to say again, please get out there, promote Boobs of Steel in any way you can to your social media. For the last 4 days, I've been able to stay in the top 20 for pop culture and pop culture graphic design. That may sound impressive, but it's not hard to get there, unfortunately. I mean, selling 4 to 5 books a day is enough to be in the top 20. That says something about Amazon and people who read books. But the longer I stay there, the better. Also, for those of you who have read some of the book, please do a review if you can. That will make a huge difference. And I'm serious. If you see people where you see a related topic where people are ripping on boobs or shaming boobs, or you got the trans people encouraging kids to cut their tits off, point it my way. I will start an argument just to get this out there. I'll be nice about it, but I've got my ammo. I've got my argument in print. It's 209 pages long. I'm ready to go out there and do battle with all the people who fucking hate boobs, who have fucking ruined comics, ruined video games, ruined movies. They're trying to ruin anime. They've ruined fiction. They've ruined genre fiction. Fuck them. I'm ready to get out there and start fighting the good fight. Now, like I said, I don't plan to be a snarky dick. I want to make a calm, logical argument. But that tends to piss people off more. So, unless they're reasonable, and then they'll actually see sense. But either way, I'm ready to get out there and do battle. So if you guys see anything, send it my way. Or, just drop a link saying, here's a book about why you're entirely wrong. That's effective too. But I will say again, I really want to get the print edition out there ASAP. It may be available by the end of next week. If not the end of next week, the week after that, absolutely, it will be up there. It will be available. And that's not even in question. I've done a rough layout in InDesign, basically as a review copy for reviewers. So it's the book, but it doesn't have all the graphics in it yet. So that should give you a hint of just how far along I am. I just got to put the graphics in, and that's it. And right now I've got one chapter, the front material and the back material all done. So anyway, 6 more chapters to go. God, my brain hurts. I want to bounce back. I really do. I don't know if you guys know how much pressure I was under for the last 3 weeks getting this shit done, man. I know I talked about it plenty. Maybe you heard it in my voice. Maybe it is clear, but god damn. And there's another thing I'm bitch about, okay? Look, 50 is not that far away from me. And it does kill me that I know that if I were just, 10 years younger, or if I was in my early 30s, late 20s, I could just fucking stay up for 4 days and not sleep and live off Monster and have had the book done by now. But no. Age is catching up and one must sleep. Soon you'll die. No. Uh, actually, I shouldn't complain. I'm actually in incredibly good health, all things considered. But then again, I didn't smoke, didn't drink much. Actually, didn't drink at all until I was older. Um, only did LSD once. So, yeah, it's probably one of the reasons I'm okay. Exercised regularly. Not exercising as much now that it's fucking humid and 109 degrees outside, but you get the point. Dude, Ironcast, you proofing those was such an enormous fucking help. I so thoroughly fucking appreciate what you did. And I will say, considering the sheer amount of time that you put into proofing it, because I mean, that was a lot of work. And not only was it a lot of work, you were doing it like overnight. Uh, you know, overnight deadline turnarounds. That's in the business world. You can charge double to triple for the type of turnaround time you were giving. For that very reason, when the print edition is ready, I will send you a print or a soft cover free. I'll just send it to your house, okay? There's no way in fucking hell you should have to pay for the hard copy, considering the amount of work you did. But no, a lot of you guys put in a lot of help, so I will not forget, and I greatly appreciate just how incredibly supportive you've all been. Don't think it does not go unnoticed. If I have forgotten anyone who helped out in the thank you column, you let me know. I will go in and fix it because a lot of you did help me, so I tried to include as many names as possible. Um, Brain hurt. So, is Tweldy around? Just out of curiosity. Soda is my beer. And yeah, soda's kind of iffy. I mean, when I was younger, I did like Coke. The drink, not not the substance. That actually is a fun story. When I was younger, in college, once we were all hanging out at a party, and there was a shopping bag with a 24 pack of classic Coke, and I walk into my friend's room, and all the guys are in there, and this new guy who doesn't know says, "Hey, is that bag of Coke on the counter your mom's?" And the dude just like flipped out. It's like, your mom does cocaine? No, I stopped drinking. Actually, the only reason I stopped drinking Coke was because I got into coffee. But yeah, that shit's kind of bad for you. The acids and just the empty calories aren't all that great. The nice thing about coffee is, as long as you don't put creamer in it, as long as you stick to something like almond milk or drink it black, you don't have to worry about calories. I mean, a all, what is it, like a what is it, 12-ounce thing of coffee is almost like what, a calorie, no calories at all. You add a nice shot of almond milk, it's 20 calories. And then if you add sugar, use fake sugar. Seriously. I know the younger people don't have to give a fuck about this, but 50 is not far away from me. I do have to give a shit. Nah, actually, this may sound kind of bizarre, but when I hit 40, I said, I'm not young anymore. I'm going to have to watch what I eat, kind of cut out some of the really questionable things, or not even questionable, just go easy on sugars, things like that, because I didn't want to age like my grandparents or like my father, who drank too much and now he's got heart problems. Actually, the heart problems are actually a birth defect. That isn't his fault. What's his fault is all the other things he did. And all the drug use in the 60s caught up with him. I shit you not making it up. Anyway, I remember the woman who raised me. This was another hint when I would get bad grades, or they claimed that I was ADHD when I wasn't. All that shit. whenever that would come up, she'd say, "Well, you didn't get that from me." Well, obviously I didn't. You're not my mom. Didn't know that at the time. But then she'd say, "But your dad did a lot of LSD, and I hear that messes up chromosomes. I bet that's what's wrong with you." What a wonderful person. Can't do coffee, Eloise? No effect on you, really. What kind of coffee are you drinking? Oh, hot chocolate's wonderful. It's just heavy as fuck. Um, but anyway, yeah, just brain not working. I'm chugging Monster as we speak. Monster's effective. Yeah, what a delightful woman. Exactly. You know, the one big thing in my life is when she kept telling me over and over again, "You're not my baby," I should have believed her. I just never thought about it. Just never really occurred to me that she meant it literally. Um, I want to build a glove strong enough to punch Carol Danvers through a wall. I want to make a suit capable of putting Kamala into a body bag. I want money. I want enough money to make Marvel suffer. Well, they're suffering. They're suffering by their own hand, though. Um, yeah, as far as the coffee goes, because I actually like the taste, I get pretty hardcore with it. I'll grind. I actually hand grind it because it actually tastes better, and I've got the French press. It's a bit of a ritual. Oh yeah, open sinus passages too. You sleep, but some people actually have that where certain amphetamines will do the opposite to them. It's just a weird thing. It's the same thing with some people. Downers will have the opposite effect on them. It's really strange. I don't really know the physiology of it. Yeah, well, Eloise, that is absolutely true. Monster makes you piss like crazy. Fortunately, I've got my office in the house here has its own bathroom, so I just have to get up every 15 minutes. Um, but it works. Absolutely works. I don't think Tweldy's around. I had a conversation to bring up if Tweldy was around, but I'll wait. Uh, it's kind of weird getting back onto Twitter. I mean, I did everything I could to avoid it because, well, it's Twitter. I will say it's better now that Elon's taken over. It is noticeably better, and I don't mind it as much. But you still get the daily doom scrolling, all the negativity, all that shit, and it can get tiresome. But on that note, because of it, I try to keep shit funny. But one thing that I have enjoyed on Twitter is following a lot of the weird shit you guys say, and just some of the shit you've shared. Um, God, have any of you seen that weird video people are sending around to the idiot chick who's a cam girl, and she's just staring into the camera with that idiot stare, mouthing words, or I don't know, maybe she's really saying it as people continually send her money to say things. You guys seen that shit? Oh, is it all people have gone? All the toxic people have gone to Zuckerberg's new shit hole? Good, good. That's where they belong. Ishi, age life. That's why I myself am inclined to check out in a year or two. I'm 52 and I got zero accomplished, failed, close to zero prospects. Maybe I'll win saved by. Are you really saying that about you, or are you quoting something? I mean, that's pretty depressing. That's a song, right? I hope. Seriously, seriously, that's not good. Um, hmm. So where that kind of derailed things. I'm trying to get where did I leave off? Oh yeah, so I was talking about that stupid ass video where it's a cam girl who is staring like an idiot into the camera, mouthing things as people send her money to say various routines and I guess act it out. I don't know what the fuck it is. Um, But I was watching that as that's going around, and my immediate thought again was, we watched shows like Max Headroom 20 Minutes into the Future. We saw movies like RoboCop, and one of the continual tropes, Demolition Man, one of the continual tropes was just how utterly stupid entertainment had become in the future. It was satirical. And of course, it was a satire on the modern era at the time, but it was like in the future, things even got stupider. But yet, where things are, when you see like these cam girls, it's like, no, they didn't go far enough. The satire isn't nearly as stupid as the reality. That's my conclusion. I mean, let's face it, I'll buy that for $1 is more intelligent than that, these cam girls. Apollo Creed, there's no tomorrow. Okay. Been listening to Punkalapi, VTuber who chats faster than her love of Red Bull. Don't know. It was just this blonde girl with an idiot stare, dressed up as, kind of wearing the manga shit. He puts on elf ears at one point. I don't know. But, Kat and I have a phrase for that when we say, Wackets didn't go far enough. Now, a lot of your Wackets, right? In the Max Headroom television show, there was an episode called Wackets. And the plot is that all the other networks are losing ratings to this new startup network that keeps running a show called Wackets. And clearly, I don't know where they got this idea, but the final decision for what Wackets was going to be, they show it. And the entire show is people lining up and running and jumping on couch cushions and running back off and getting back at the line to do it again, over and over and over again. And that is all they do, is just continually jump on couch cushions in a line, right? And you've got all these network executives just staring at the screen saying, I don't understand. Why is everyone watching? There's no point to this. What is this? And later you find out that an evil network exec played by Bill Maher has been, I guess, putting subliminal messaging that addicts people to the show, so the show becomes addictive or something to that effect. Standard plot. But yeah, the show Wackets was so fucking just moronic. When we see shit like that, we kind of say, well, how does it compare to Wackets? On the Wackets scale, where does this rate? This reality timeline has been fucked for a while due to CERN. Maybe, who knows? Who cares? I got to admit, the Mandela effect is kind of creepy. I mean, there are things we've all seemed to experience that don't line up, or where huge groups of people remember things and that others remember differently. And you can, to some degree, chalk that up to conflation. And that is a process. That's a real thing, conflation. And it's when people conflate memories in their mind and they come together, or a piece of fiction will overlay on top of reality and will conflate it as one thing. This is a normal phenomena, or where reality and fiction keep informing each other. But some of this Mandela effect is definitely not that. Fair Maiden. Oh, I'm so glad you made it. We have all been so goddamn worried about you. Seriously, we thought you were dead. Probably missed it, but is Boobs of Steel and Print? You get a free copy? You and Ironcast Knight were the main editors that went through and proofed everything. Boobs of Steel is available digitally right now. The print edition will be out in a week or two. I'm still putting the graphics in and basically getting the rights to some of the graphics to make sure that I don't get sued. But the Yeah, you know what, Fair Maiden? You know how I worked 2.5 years on Boobs of Steel? I took a step back and realized, although it still wasn't done, I realized, holy crap, I've got 4 books worth of material here. The first book is 209 pages digitally. The print edition will probably be a little bit longer. That's just book 1. And there's going to be a book 2, 3, and possibly a 4. So in total, we're looking at an 800-page book for Boobs of Steel if I'm to compile it all as one book. So I might do an omnibus eventually when it's done. But yeah, I'm releasing it in editions. This is part 1, Decoding the Amazon. Book 2 will be The Riddle of Steel. Book 3, I think I'm going to entitle Fear of the Feminine, because that's when I really get down into the culture war. And again, I don't know if you saw in your email, I'm going to bring it up on screen right now. Because, Jen, you were so supportive of this project, so thoroughly on board for this project. Give me a second. Come on, where'd it go? There it is. Well, yeah, there we go. I'm opening the InDesign file. All right. Let me do a share screen and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Share screen, application. All right, so as we can see, this is not the cover you originally saw for Boobs of Steel. That's because there's going to be 4 of them, so I had to commission another. This is Boobs of Steel Book 1, Decoding the Amazon. Oh, this is for the review copy. That's why that's there. Okay. I want you to take a good long look at this, Jen. You see that? Can you see that, please? Let me know if you can see that. If your phone can actually show you that. If not, I'm going to read to you what it says. So, okay. Niddle of Steel. Hey, Teweldy, what's going on? There are a bunch of people that are going to get gifts as I am. You fight like a true warrior, Ishii. I see the good fight is so clearly in you. You shine from inside truth. It is my humble privilege to follow in this you in this fight. Warriors know nothing else. Thank you. Well, I had to say something, basically. And I continue now that I've got my book out there. I'm ready to throw down and fight because I've got my argument. What did I want to talk about, Teweldy? Basically, you talking to me about faith, because this has been going an ongoing topic with you and me. And like I said, you were the one that kind of pointed out that all this talk about gray aliens was pretty much akin. Well, I said it had all the earmarks of a religious experience, but well, aliens. And my take on it is that it was pretty much the old archetypes in my mind. If I had had these experiences in another era, I would have seen angels, and that Carl Jung himself said that the Greys were aliens, were essentially technology angels, or that's how we interpreted them. But anyway, no, I've been giving a lot of thought because of our conversation that most of you missed out on the Discord. Don't worry, it was cool, but not major. And I think I've got the answer about why I always say I'm atheist, but yet I seem to understand faith to a degree, or at least get why other people have faith. And why I say my big stumbling block is I just don't really see the miracle aspect. And I guess to a degree I still don't. And my explanation always for why I'm atheist is that I know where the stories came from. I know how the stories developed. And I know how we came about this. And it seems more like we evolved these stories rather than it was handed to us by some higher being. That's my take. But then I realized I think the stumbling block for why I always say I'm atheist, regardless of all of what I just said here, is the concept of God. That is it. You know, when people talk about faith and religion and God, it is the concept of God that I have the most trouble with. Miracles too, but it's that. It's like, well, what do you mean as God? Do you mean the character in the Bible? I just, that doesn't resonate with me. I don't really see it. That I just have no, it would be nice. I mean, I've said it multiple times. It'd be nice if it were real. I just don't believe. But, we were talking, and I was talking about how if you wanted to regard God as in the term of the kame in Shintoism, where the word means God, but it literally means everything. The gods are kame, the spirits are kame, nature is kame, the universe is kame, humans are kame, everything is. And that it all flows like a stream. And when you walk against the kame, life is shit. And you're always trying to get moving in the same direction or moving in accordance with kame. And when you do, you find order in your life and things make sense, or you're going in the direction you're supposed to be. And in that regard, if that's what your conception of God is, or if you want to propose, well, that's a God, then you'd say, no, I'm not an atheist. Yeah, I thoroughly agree with that point of view. That really makes sense to me. It works for me. And it's a metaphor and a way of thinking about interacting with the universe and reality and causality that really resonates with me. So I was just curious. So you really got me thinking on that. So when it comes to the All Father in the Bible, especially the Old Testament God, I can't believe in that. It's just no. But if you want to imply something a bit more, I don't know, what would be the word? Naturalistic isn't the right word. Something more fluid. Something that's more a process than a being or a interaction. I get it, yeah. Stumbling block of atheists is the iron denial of the concept of God. People need to check out Justice League Wonder Woman Hawk Girl episode. Well, yeah, see, what concept of God is the issue? Because like I said, God as portrayed in the Old Testament, no, no, I don't. But on the other hand, if you would want to if you want to term it in another, that's it. I think it's our concept of what is God is the stumbling block where I say atheism. Because the traditional concept, no, it's not there for me. There's no belief. That, and unfortunately, I really don't think I'm going anywhere after I die. It's depressing as shit, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I kind of think when I die, that's probably the off switch, which is, again, depressing as shit, but that's kind of why I've got to make my life count, right? I've got to make the most of this and do what I can while I'm here, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to get a second time around or a second shot at this or another time to see those people that were in my life. I will never see them again. Does that make sense? There's something for you to chew on. Hey, Alois, Post a. Oh, you did. Here's the Discord link. Really, Central Americans view God like Kame. It's more of a force and an interaction and oh God, Western language doesn't quite have the words for it. Our abstracts and our concretes function differently than the East, so we don't quite have the right words for it usually. It's one of the reasons Kame is so hard to describe to Westerners, and it's kind of the one thing that once you understand Kame, the rest of Shintoism kind of falls into place. Well, I am glad you're all showering Fair Maiden with a love fest, because she damn well needs it. No, I think we will be judged for your actions and the weight of your sins. You were a good man. I can vouch for your presence to the Almighty. You know, that's another one. See, I would really like to think people are going to be held account for their sins. I really would, because shit, there's some people that really deserve it. Really, really deserve it. So, yeah, anyway, just thinking about our conversation. Okay. Wow. I'm glad you're all dogpiling her with love here. It's interesting you call it the weight of your sins. Are you familiar with the Egyptian afterlife and how that works, just out of curiosity? Because it's literal in the Egyptian religion. I'm probably going to get it wrong. Kat's more familiar with the Egyptian stuff than I am. But in Egyptian mythology, when a person dies, they have to go through some bureaucracy, but then they finally get to essentially what's a court. And oh God, I forget which gods, Set and a few of the other gods are waiting for you there. And they weigh your heart against your life or something to that effect. And if the weight of your heart is weighed down by too much sin, you get cast to, oh God, what's it called? Crocodile hippo, I shit you not. And I wish Kat was here for this. Oh, I think it's Amet. I could be wrong, but it's the most terrifying creature in their religion, and it's got the front half of a croc and the back half of a hippo. And if your heart weighs too much and the weight of your sins is too much, one of the gods basically tosses you to the thing and it eats you. And that's it. You're over. You don't come back. You don't have your soul's gone. Your kanba are gone. You're not distracting. I am really glad you're here, Jen. Thank you, Twilly. See, you already know. The feather of truth. That's what it's weighed against. Your heart's weighed against the feather of truth. You take your heart out like in Temple of Doom. Yeah, well, yeah, but you know, it's you're dead, so you don't really need it in your chest. You know, the interesting thing is there's actually a lot of similarities between the Chinese afterlife and the Egyptian afterlife, down to the idea of the body and the soul having being two distinct entities, and both need to have their own treat. They both have to be looked after in a certain way. The feather of truth is a feather used in the hall of judgment in the land of the dead to determine the souls of the deceased are worthy in the afterlife. Well, shit, you're well educated on this. Yeah, that's how Kat would have said it. The Holy Spirit is the Kame force, but they combined it with the Father. I don't I don't know. Makes sense since the Central American was largely animist and were fleeing the Aztecs. Makes sense. Well, that's another one is the Trinity. While it's often considered a unique concept, it isn't. I mean, the concept of triple gods with triple aspects is ancient. It goes way, way back. I mean, the Celts had it. Um, well, the Hindus have it, and I do believe, I think it was the Babylonians. I mean, just it's amazing. That concept is not a new one at all. It was often considered the norm, and it was to explain the various aspects of the gods and why they could turn on a dime. And in Egypt, I believe, since in the Egyptian mythology, everything's canon, even the stuff that contradicts, it's all canon. Um, I do know that certain parts of the certain sects in Egypt thought that there were trios of gods that were really one individual. Like I believe Sekhmet and Bast were actually supposed to be the same character, depending. Referring to is Sobek, the Devourer. Thank you, Sobek. Yeah, I was just kind of blown away when Kat was telling me about Sobek that the most terrifying things to the Egyptians was half a croc, half a hippo. And apparently in Egypt, crocs are not nearly as terrifying as hippos. Apparently hippos are far scarier. Um, and once I actually saw a hippo close up underwater at the zoo where they have this glass wall. I kind of get it. Out of the water, they just look blubbery and weird. In the water, they look terrifying. Max Durant did a video on Trinity across religions. Well, I think there's something about the Trinity concept that appeals to the human mind. I mean, for all of his poo-pooing of mythology and religion, even Freud tried to break the human mind down into the id, ego, and superego. Even he gave the human mind a trinity. Yes. Jen says she's been in the abyss where you are now. Fight it. Do not get comfortable there. I'm crawling out of it myself. Find me. I'll help you pull out of it. Good. We can crawl out of it together. Damn straight. Christians, our God is 3 in 1. Hindus, yes, we have that too. Hippos will mess up a croc. Apparently, yeah, apparently so. Hippocampus are fucking nightmare fuel. Okay. Hippos are violent creatures. They kill more people in Africa than crocs. Damn. And the weird thing is, I've heard they're basically giant rodents, which is weird because I've told you rodents are generally very intelligent and not aggressive, but hippos seem to be the reverse. They're kind of dumb, but mean as fuck, apparently. Escobar has the last laugh then. Hippos are taking over Colombia. Oh, yeah. Didn't he have a zoo? So I'll give Fair Maiden White an update since, again, she was not only one of the biggest supporters in the way of helping me with Boobs of Steel. I mean, like I said, her and Ironcast Knight did the bulk of the copy editing. More than anybody else, they were my main copy editors and content feedback. But the other thing is that Jen was like the biggest cheerleader. I mean, whenever I talked to her, she would thank me for what I was doing, telling me, no, stick with it. You're doing a good thing. This has to be done. You're standing up for us. Don't have, because I would have doubts. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? It's year 2 and I'm not done with this damn thing. Maybe, I'm basically, I'm dying on the vine here. I haven't released anything in 2 years. This is sucking. And she'd say, no, stick with this. This has to get out there. You're supposed to do this. So, again, I greatly appreciate what she did. But now that she's here, I'll tell her what's going on. Like I said, I decided to start releasing the individual books because I realized I had multiple books worth of material written. And the first one is a segment that I don't think you've seen much of really. And what I do is I give kind of the thesis statement, the introduction, which you've read. But then after that, I go through kind of a review. The first chapter is called The Amazonian 80s. Let me put the book back on screen. Give me a second. And I talk about how the boobs of steel trope really took off in the 80s, how it had been developing prior to that, but 80s were really when it established itself. And I do a review of kind of all these different characters that were iconic in the 80s and how they influenced all this different media and how they continue to influence us today. But while I do that, I'm really giving everyone a lesson in Jungian archetypes. That's really what's going on. So in a sense, it's an education, but hopefully you don't notice you're getting an education on Jungian archetypes. It's just a thing about the 80s. The second chapter is Meanwhile in Japan, and then I get into Japan in the 80s and how much they were influenced and how they influenced us. After that, I get into the Amazon archetype because the Amazon is essentially where all of our action heroes or action heroines of the modern era comes from. And the reason I do this is that it's not enough to point out the problem. I've got to point out what we're losing. I've got to show why we need these characters, why they're important, why they function in certain stories, and why you just can't have a bunch of cultural labels smashed together and say, she's hero now, she's the hero. And you get Ray Palpatine out of that. Decoding in the Amazon, I literally start from the Paleolithic era all the way to the 60s and 70s about where the Amazon came from, the Amazon's influence on art, history, and culture all the way up to the modern era. And it's pretty surprising. Do a massive section on pulp in the 40s and 50s. Then I devote an entire chapter to Wonder Woman because she was the one that defined the modern Amazon to us. But also, pretty much all of our action heroines spring from Wonder Woman. She was kind of the seed that planted all of them. And then the final chapter, The American Nightmare, I talk about woke characters and I kind of do a breakdown of America Chavez and how they basically were trying to do the Wonder Woman story all over again with this millennial character. And it didn't work. It utterly bombed. She was nothing but a bunch of SJW labels or token labels. And that was it. She was not a character. She was not an archetype. And that in doing this, what you got was a villain, a just completely sociopathic, vile villain. And that's where I leave off. And the next book where I pick up, I'm going to dive into why Wonder Woman became a pop culture success, whereas woke characters like America Chavez are already doomed to fail. They're just spiraling into non-existence. Also in book 2, I'm going to get into the nature of feminine versus masculine strength. I'm going to get into I'm getting into the culture war, the Amazon or the Valkyrie and jungle goddess archetypes, and the hero's journey as it relates to female characters, and why it is so detrimental that the woke left has gotten rid of all of our beautiful Amazonian heroines. That Laura Croft has been made weak. She's a rape victim now. I get into what they've done to Power Girl, what they've done to Ms. Marvel. I just go down the list and say, look, by doing this, by robbing these characters of their femininity, or turning them into a joke and a laughing stock, you've robbed us of females who can take the hero's journey. A masculine female who takes the hero's journey will read as just a discount male taking the hero's journey. They won't read as female. Our subconscious will see that character, like Rey Palpatine, will not come across as a female on the hero's journey. In fact, she'll come across as a fucking psychopath and evil. But whereas these classic archetypes, the Amazon, the Valkyrie, the Hoxian woman, the femme fatale, these characters can take the hero's journey because they are outwardly feminine. They will retain their femininity no matter what masculine behavior they engage in. So you can still have a female on the hero's journey. And that's very important because look at the films we have now. And in that chapter, I do a breakdown where I compare, I believe, Rey Palpatine to Battle Angel Alita, and saying Battle Angel Alita goes on the hero's journey. She's an archetype. This is why it succeeds, and why, Captain Marvel, Rey, you get on the list, all of these characters fail miserably, and why we need to keep these archetypes, why the feminine aspect needs to be retained, and what we're losing by wiping this away from our media, what we're losing by bashing and claiming, a curvaceous figure, a busty woman, things that are basically visual indicators that she's female are becoming offensive. No, it's not offensive. It says they just don't want women to exist. So that's book 2. And then book 3 is going to do a full dive into the culture war. You read most of that, Fair Maiden. You read the one about She-Ra, this whole thing on video games, the stuff in the publishing world, Heinlein. I get into a whole breakdown about how it all basically is communism. Communism has been the culprit the whole time. It has always been communism and then postmodernism. Then feminism, now the trans movement. You know what? I should try and contact Janice Fiamingo. See if she would be interested. She's kind of hard to get a hold of. Okay. Are we talking about Rey, best ever Skywalker? She's not a Skywalker. She's a thief. Like if the Magic School Bus had tits. That's a thought. Yeah, Roger Corman made a movie where the spaceship had tits. Hippos are the result of millions of years of inbreeding. The alpha in the hippos will kill their sons to remove, their competition and they will breed only daughters. Oh, there you go. Going down your comment list. Okay. I don't want a second film to be made for Alita. James Cameron is so fucking woke now. He is so cucked out. That Alita script was written in his prime. He wrote it around the time he did Terminator 2. That's why it was good. If he writes one now, it's going to be utter garbage. Wait, spaceship with tits? Yeah, hold on. Let me get the graphic. Battle Beyond the Stars. This was Roger Corman's knockoff. He did a Star Wars knockoff called Battle Beyond the Stars with John Boy Walton. Okay, that dates you if you know what I'm talking about. Some of you know who I'm talking about. Okay, let me grab the screen. There you go. The spaceship has tits. Battle Beyond the Stars. And Roger Corman made this. It's essentially the Seven Samurai, but in space. And he apparently spent a fair amount of money on this one because he legit wanted to compete with Star Wars, or at least cash in on it. And it is hokey as all hell, but I got to admit, it's enjoyable as all hell too. It's fun, it's funny. Sybil Danning's in it as a space Valkyrie in some really great outfits. See? But I'm trying to get a good picture of the ship. Okay. Oh yeah, and look who we get for the bad guy. John Saxon. You can't miss with him, right? Surprised I can't get any good photos of the ship. Oh, and we've got let's see, who else is in it? Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find the ship. I put in ship with boobs and I get more Sybil Danning. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's Sybil Danning, but yeah, this will probably get another video pulled. But here's Sybil Danning in the film in her Space Valkyrie outfit. She's not wearing the helmet though. Oh, here we go. Oh, here's the ship. And I think I can find one more. And by the way, in the movie, the nipples shoot lasers. So there you go, the ship with tits. What do you make of that? They can even screw up an adaptation of of a JoJo. Okay. Since I missed Monday's stream, porn star Summer Cummings and Ashley Renee Arini. Yeah. Oh, okay. For those of you who don't know, maybe tomorrow night we'll do it, depending on how Kat's feeling. To celebrate Boobs of Steel, I told all of you to suggest various women for me to grab photos of, various celebrities, models, actors, you pick your pick. And Kat was going to drink a couple shots of whiskey and then rate them. And so you would get Tipsy Cat rating boobs. And yeah, you guys gave me a gigantic list of names. I've gathered most of them. Yep, Battle Beyond the Stars, Star Wars inspired space opera camp. Unintentionally funny was Spaceballs. Yeah, definitely. Does that ship have a motorboat attack? It should have. By the way, the ship is intelligent. It has an AI, and it talks to the pilot. And it does kind of talk like a dirty old woman and flirts and makes sexual innuendos. So, yeah, it's a Corman film. Looks like a hammerhead with laser nipples. All right, well, I've been on for an hour or so, and so unless you guys got any last minute things to toss in, Fair Maiden, are you still here? I will wait a second to get your response. As I wait that response, there's a link in the description for those of you who have not ordered Boobs of Steel. If you're curious, want to get it, it's only $3. Or if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can read it for free. Also, please, if you have purchased it, review it, give it a star review, please. The sooner I can get reviews, the better. That will make a huge difference. So sort of like Edie from Mass Effect before she got a hot upgrade. Yeah. Fair Maiden, we've missed you. And I am so glad to see you pop in here after so long. I know when you're in that pit, there's that kind of desire to push everyone away and just stay quiet and huddled in your room and not talk to anyone. So it's more important than ever that you keep coming back and hanging out with all of us. And I'm glad to see you. And yes, we all give a damn. We really do. Hopefully you'll join us on the Discord too. So anyway, it's good to see you. And wait, Ishi, grab Kat and hold her tight and tell her how beautiful and wonderful she is. Oh, I do every day. Every day. All right. Good night.